series. Uh, I'm really hoping that you have a fun time today. I really hope you have a fun time today. So ground rules, be respectful for everyone in this session. I'm really happy to see how we've built ourselves so far, and also create a welcoming and supportive environment for everyone. Engage actively by sharing your thoughts or questions in the chat. Your speaker is very happy to take them. Keep the discussion focused on machine learning, AI, and topics on the agenda. So this today's topic, we're not focusing on AI or machine learning. We are focusing on grad school. So you can keep the discussion focused on that topic. Avoid spamming the chat with irrelevant links, advertisement, or off-topic messages. And also, thank you all for joining on time. And feel free to ask questions during the Q&A segments. And most importantly, have fun and enjoy the session. So this is our agenda. We are done with this welcoming. So next is the introduction. So before we bring on Mr. John on the stage, um, just a little introduction about Mr. John. John Aremu is an experimental high-energy physicist and researcher who began his journey in Nigeria and is now in the United States. He's studying physics. He started studying physics at the University of Ibadan in Nigeria and graduated in 2021. Since then, he has been involved in research, particularly focused on hadronic collisions at the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, as he seeks to explore physics beyond the standard model. Currently, John is a research assistant in the Compact Muon Solent CMS group at Northeastern University in Boston. He is working on the upgrade of the CMS hardware detector, which will be utilized for the round 4 experiment at the LHC. In addition to his research work, John serves as a teaching assistant in the physics department at Northeastern University, where he instructs undergraduate classes and labs. John's strong commitment to physics research is evident throughout his academic journey, from his time at the University of Ibadan to his current position. In 2024, he was recognized as a recipient of the Education USA Opportunity Funds Program, Nigeria, a program sponsored by the US Department of State, aimed at supporting high-achieving students in achieving their educational goals in the United States. Moreover, John is passionate about helping his colleagues and his peers gain access to similar opportunities. He actively mentors other students who aspire to pursue graduate education in the US, reflecting his dedication to shaping the next generation of scientists while conducting cutting-edge research in his field. I mean, I guess this deserves a round of applause. We can just, uh, please, the guy is too good. The guy is too good. So, our speaker is currently facing difficulties. I don't know, John, can you hear me? Can you share your screen now? Hello? John, if you can hear me, just say hi.
Can you allow my screen? Can you hear
Sorry?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I just got my question.
You just got what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clear.
Okay, good. So let me see how I can share my screen. Okay. Give me like 1 minute. Or thereabout. I need to pull up the document.
No problem. I mean, reading from John's bio, what were you? I don't know if anyone can write in the chats if there's anything you're excited about. I mean, personally, what I got from his bio is Education USA. That's like one chance of entering the United States. So maybe if you have questions about that, you can drop that in the chat. Um, let me bring up the. Are you ready?
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
No, we're not seeing your screen. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Oh, good. That is great. So, thank you so much for the introduction and uh, I don't know what else I can say. It's a good one. It's nice to meet you guys. I don't know if I can see your faces. You could just turn up your camera briefly so that at least I can have it, you know. Oh, okay. Nice to see you guys. Well, thank you at least for um, joining and for this meeting all here. Let me get started. Um, just like I've been introduced, there is a brief introduction about me. Um, my name is John. I'm born in Ibadan. Lived all my life in Ibadan. Um, yeah, all my school I lived in Ibadan. The only time I had to leave Ibadan was when I was 7 in Akure. That was in 2022. I studied physics from the University of Ibadan. Uh, Finished with the first class. Um, I served various leadership positions, in UI and Southwest Nigeria. I joined Education USA in 2022, and then I applied for OFP in 2023. And then in 1 year, I got admitted to Northeastern University. And I had to leave Nigeria on the 31st of July last year. I got here on the 1st of August, and I've been 10 months in America ever since. I just concluded my first year at Northeastern University Physics Department. I did teaching assistant. Currently, I'm serving as a research assistant. And the reason I'm giving you this brief rundown is that so that you can have an idea and know that you just have to think about it, believe in yourself, and you surely get it. So, um, okay, this is not going. Okay. So, graduate study. The what we're going to talk about is how to make a very good decision in pursuing your graduate studies. And I'm going to start by defining what graduate study is. It could be master's degree, it could be a doctoral degree. A master's degree is for 2 years. It could be either Master of Arts, Master of Science, um, MBA, which is Master of Business Administration. And for the doctoral degree, it could be between 3 and 5 years usually after the master's degree. But most people usually go to PhD directly from their bachelor's degree. So it's possible. That's why the time frame is between 3 and 5 years. I hope you guys can hear me. So, that study requires a lot of work. Lot of work. When I say a lot of work, it's very intense. It's unlike undergrad where you're really told what to do, how to do it. Most times they just say, we want to do this, just figure it out. So even in classes, even if you're taking classes, you're not going to be giving examples of problems. You're just going to be introduced, given some principles, rules, and all, and then you just have to figure out how to solve problems using the techniques that you learned in class. So it's rigorous. If you are in a research position, you might have demanding and ambitious professors. For example, a professor that just got employed probably wants to become tenure track. And in tenure, if you don't have enough publications, if you don't have enough engagement in the research space, your articles are not substantial. You don't publish articles. You don't. Your articles are not cited. You might not get the promotion that you want to get. And if you are a student to that kind of professor, you would have to do more. You have a lot of work to do. You have a lot of commitment. So some of them can be very, very demanding. And if you don't have an idea of what you want to do, if you are somebody that is still trying to, I don't understand what I'm doing. I'm trying to get my bearing, footing. You might not be able to survive in that kind of environment. It also requires a very high standard of performance. For example, your grades, you have to have straight A's. There's nothing like oh, C's. No, if you get C's, it's a fail. C's are fail. And when I say C's, C starts from if I'm not mistaken, I think 70. Yes, 70 and below is C. And any grade below 70 is a fail. And if you have too many fail grades, they might probably kick the person out of the program. So it's really, really demanding. This is what I'm just trying to let you know. So you have to really, really make the decision on how to choose your path. You have to ask yourselves a couple of questions. Why graduate school? And why now? If you want to do a master's or a PhD, I've made a definition. Master's is just 2 years. Within 2 years, you leave your program and then you are probably in the job market working. PhD is a commitment of 5 years. Are you ready to do it? Do you think you can commit the next 5 years of your life for a PhD? Think about it. Why US or Europe and not Nigeria? So many people, and I put Nigeria there for a reason. It's some people really need to do their masters in Nigeria first before they probably go to Europe to do an advanced degree. It's normal. I've seen people do that a lot. If you think that is what you need to probably get your footing or something, it is better. You can do that. What are your academic interests? What are you interested in? Are you interested in this course that you're studying? Is it something that is very interesting? Is it something that you like? Is it something that you're going to commit the rest of your life to? You understand what I'm trying to say? So You have to ask yourself these things. It's like saying that you want to go on a journey and you look at the journey and you say, oh, the journey is going to take you 23 hours to drive if you want to drive a car. And you're like, can I commit myself to 23 hours sitting down behind a wheel and driving a car for a very long time? Can I do it? If you think you cannot do it, you really have to rethink your options and probably think of something else. What are your career goals? After your PhD, after your master's, what do you want? Do you want to be a professor? Do you want to work in the industry? Do you want to start a business? Do you just want to make money? And if you want to make money, what do you want to make money in? Do you see yourself as an entrepreneur? If you see yourself as an entrepreneur, maybe a PhD is not for you. Maybe an MBA would be better. Maybe a master's would be better. You really have to think about it. These are the questions you have to ask yourself. And if you are doing a master's or a PhD, you have to ask yourself, what are your research experiences like? Most especially PhD, because PhD is research intensive. Once you sign up for a PhD, the highest time they will give you to not do anything is 1 year. After 1 year, you should really have an idea of the research you want to do for the rest of your career. You should really be able to pick a niche in the field of study that you're really interested in. So what is your experience like? Do you have experience? Have you done research before? If you've done it before, is it something you want to do again? Is it something you are really, really interested in, that if you want to commit the rest of your life to studying that thing, you can do it? Because PhD graduates here in America or in the world are generally seen as experts in a field. I am in high energy experiments. I don't know anything. By the time I graduate from my PhD, I would probably know little or nothing about maybe um, atmospheric physics or climate science or um, other parts of physics. But I'm going to be so good in high energy physics such that every aspect of high energy physics, it's just a part of physics. I hope you understand. And it was based off my previous experience. I didn't do anything related to high energy actually, but I did something related to condensed matter, and I found a way of connecting condensed matter and high energy. I'll talk about the feats later down the line, but these are the questions you have to ask yourselves. What is your research experience like? Do you have very robust research experience? I'm not talking about publishing papers. Publishing papers is an added advantage. Maybe you did one small project with with a professor or a lecturer in your university, and you just did something together where you had to independently, do a lot of work, come up with ideas, be creative. It could be a lot. It could be anything. You don't have to, you know, it doesn't have to be the big research, big projects. It doesn't really, just the small things. Think about it. If you have it, then it's a good thing. What is your academic background like? Um, for example, I don't know. I sincerely have to apologize. The only example I have in my head is related to my field, which is physics. Um, when I was applying for high energy experiment, I looked at my background in physics in Nigeria. We didn't really do anything in high energy. We didn't take a course in string theory. We didn't take any course in astrophysics or something. So it was a little bit challenging switching because I didn't have a background in the field. Even though I had a bachelor's degree in physics, the what I was taught in my entire physics degree did not entail some little bit introduction into high energy physics. So I had to go online and take some additional courses that I had to put on my CV and in my statement of purpose while I was applying. So if you look at your academic background and you see that this is something that you need more experience in, then you should go for it. these are the questions you should ask yourself, because if you make the right choice, it's going to impact your future significantly. So, after you've asked all those questions, what next? What I'm going to tell you is you have options, so many options. In the US alone, there are over 4,000 higher institutions. 4,000 higher institutions. It means that you can choose over 4,000 grad, well, up to 4,000 graduate schools in America alone, not to talk of other parts of the world, maybe in Europe, in Asia. I've seen people go to Asia. So it means that there is a fit for you. You just have to find it. And of course, that we are going to talk about how you're going to find it, right? What I just want to tell you is you need to know what is possible, and that is why we are here. There is a fit from you for you somewhere in the world. All you just need to do is let's get moving. Now, I'm going to ask you again. Can you hear me? I think I lost this game. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Very fine, sir.
Okay, good. So back to what I was trying to say. Um before you start, before you start, before we go into the nitty-gritty of, I'm going to ask you to really, really think long and hard, because this decision is a big one and you should really be ready for the long journey ahead. These are other questions you could also ask. Consider your passion and motivation. We've talked about this earlier. I've mentioned something about this earlier. It's a lifelong commitment. Do you really want to do it? Think about funding. Is it achievable? Saying you want to commit yourself for the next 5 years onto a program, is it achievable? Right? Consider your ability. Some people, they kind of freak out when they study, or when they spend long hours studying or something. It might be a bummer for people. The impact on you and your family, because it's literally going to affect them. Think about it. Time. If you have time on your side, oh, do I have um can I afford to spend 5 years of my time doing this? Think about the future of your career. So these are questions I also want you to keep asking yourself. And when you've decided all of this, then we can move and start. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, or the first recommendation I'm going to make, is that you collect information on your program of interest. So you've asked yourself all those questions. You've known the program you want to study. You've known if it's a master's or a PhD. You've known what you want to do after graduating, after your graduate study. You've known all of those things. You've known the what you're going to get committed to in doing to get all of these things done. Then you have to find information about these things. Here are some websites that you can use to find your program of interest. So you can go on Google, peterson.com, all these websites. I would send the slides to um um I'll send the slides when after the meeting, and then so that you can have access to all of these things. And then, after you've collected information on your program of interests, you have to build your list of schools. Build your list of schools. What I usually tell my, people that I um, mentor, is that you should try to build a list of schools of about 100. About 100. Yeah, that was what I did. I had a list of schools of up to 100, and then one then after 100, I kind of pruned down the list to 20. I think it was 11 I ended up using that I applied to. So build your list of schools, classify them. We'll come to the classification in a little bit later. And these are the websites you would use to build your schools. It's basic, simple, and just go with it and you would get it. Now, when I talk about classification, this is what I'm talking about. School classification system. There's the Ivy League schools. There are just 8 of them. 8. Brown University, Columbia University, Cornell, Dartmouth, Harvard, Princeton, UPenn, and Yale. Those are the 8 Ivy Leagues. And the reason they call them Ivy Leagues is because they are one of the oldest universities in America, right? Then the other schools are top ranked schools. Oh, top ranked schools, their names are everywhere, blah, blah, blah. You have them. And then you have safety schools. These schools are, schools where you even if you apply to Ivy League and you don't get a shot there, and you apply to top ranked schools, you still don't get a shot. You will surely get a shot if you apply to safety schools. And there are so many of them. There are so many of them. Now, this slide was prepared with the ideology of the American educational system. So, but if you are looking at other countries, you could probably, also classify them in those areas. When you search them online, you will see their acceptance rate, and then you use the acceptance rate to build your list and say, oh, this school that has like 2% acceptance rate, do I think I have what it takes to be among the 2%? You know what it means? 2% means if 2,000 people apply to the school, that program, it's only 20 people that will get in. That's 2%. So you should think about it. Then this is one important thing I want to let you know. Regardless of whatever ranking that you use, oh, I'm applying to MIT, I'm applying to Harvard or whatever, program ranking is more important than the institution ranking. So for example, you want to do business, you want to apply into a business program, maybe an MBA or something, you could apply to Harvard Business School or Harvard University. Or you want to do law, or you want to do other, art programs, it would be a little bit miss of you to apply to MIT if you want to do law. I'm not saying they don't have programs, but in the ranking of those schools, they have there are some schools that have better programs than other schools. I wrote a couple of examples here. University of Chicago, Northwestern, University of Pennsylvania, they are known for their business program, Harvard included. If you are talking about engineering, the sciences, MIT, Stanford, those schools, Purdue University, those schools are the schools that are good for their engineering programs. So this is very important. I want you to take note of it. Program ranking is more important than the institution ranking. Then when you have built your list, or while you are building your list, this is what you should look out for. You look out for the professors, you look out for people that you would pick as your potential supervisor, you would check their publication, you check their research facilities. Do they have, what kind of research facilities do they have? Reason is, if you, of course, you have an idea of what you want to do, and you know some of the equipment that would be used. We came from Nigeria. We don't have access to some of these facilities. If you see that it is very interesting, it can serve as a reason for applying to that school. If you say, oh, they have this very big equipment that is going to be useful for your research, and you want to use it, and you want to, use it to do this, do this, do this, it's a reason to, you know, write in your SOP and say that, oh, this is why I'm applying to this school. And those are part of the things you should look for. Funding availability. You wouldn't want to get admitted and be looking for how to survive. Even if it's not in America, even if it is in Europe, living outside Nigeria is pretty expensive. Ask from people that are living outside Nigeria. It's expensive. So you wouldn't want to get admitted and still be struggling with funding. Then you should also check up the admission requirement. What are the requirements? Do you need to take standardized tests? Do you need to write is it the TOEFL, GRE, Duolingo, whatever? Then you check the accreditation. Some schools, now we are talking about accreditation. It might sound a little bit surprising. And I have to tell you, some schools that you literally they have big names might have lost their accreditation. You understand? Right now, with the current climate, with the situation of things in America right now, people are being advised not to apply to Harvard. Even though Harvard is Ivy League school, people really want to go to Harvard. But because of what is going on right now, if they end up losing their accreditation status, it means that people would not be able to apply to that school. So if you choose the school blindly without checking the accreditation, you might, end up wasting your time. And you wouldn't want to do that. So there are also websites to check for this. I can't really remember the name of the website to check the accreditation, but if you search on Google for how to get accreditation for the schools that you are applying to, you would always get there. Sometimes you could also need to check out the curriculum. What is the curriculum like? How many years of classes are you going to take? What's the amount of coursework? Oh, so if you check the curriculum and you see that I've done this class before while I was in 200 level, do I need to do it again in graduate class? And you can petition it and tell them that, oh, I've done this class. All they will ask is send your transcript and the list of the textbooks that you use. If they see it is graduate level, they can literally waive it for you. And you would not take the class as a graduate level course because you probably have taken it in your undergrad. And that is the reason you also have to look out for the curriculum to see if you can, prune out some courses while you study. Then you should also look for opportunities and the living environment. If you are probably going to Europe, or maybe Europe, you've searched everywhere and you find out that it's Russia that you want to go and do your graduate study. Russia is cold. Do you think you can survive the cold? Even some places in Canada are very cold. Even if you choose that, do you really think you can survive it when you are exposed to the cold? Because these cities, these countries can really be cold. Living environment, what kind of food do they eat? How are the people there? Do they have a lot of racists? Do they have a lot of crime? What's the crime rate? You should really be careful. You lived this long in Nigeria, you did not die. It is going to be a very bad idea to travel out of Nigeria and get killed. I'm not saying people that those things happen to are not good enough, but you understand what I'm trying to say. You should be proactive and be careful before you take those decisions. So these are the things you have to look up for, and they would influence how you draw up your list. And when you draw up these lists, you should please be careful of drawing up an impossible list. It would be a little bit amiss if you say, oh, I'm going to apply to 10 universities and 8 out of the 10 universities are Ivy League. I'm like, why? So you should Try to be realistic, but motivated. That doesn't mean that you should not take a shot at all of these Ivy League schools, right? You can take a shot at it. If you see their program and say, "Ah, I can cook up something that will make sense for these people," and then they'll probably, and then you can get it. People get it. People get admitted into s- programs that they don't imagine that they will get into. So another important information is that you should choose your professor before you choose your school. You should choose your professor before you choose your school. If you are going to, even I'm not talking about America alone, no. I'm talking about you, even if it's in Europe, they should know you before your application gets to them. And how do you do that? Cold emails. You send cold emails, you reach out to them, you ask them for funding, you ask them about their research, you ask them questions, you tell them that you're interested in their program. And most of these people are nice. They will literally reach out to you and explain, talk to you, try to motivate you to apply to their program, especially if they have money. They will say, "Oh, come, don't worry, we'll take care of you, blah blah blah." And then you just choose your professor before you choose your school. That is the bottom line. And the reason is simple. The moment you choose your professor, you know that if it's a PhD, you are spending 5 years with this professor. If you choose a bad professor, you might end up getting out of the program before time. There are a lot of people that happens to. It's not a very good experience. I must promise you that it's not a good experience where you signed up for a PhD, but the professor you chose, you and the professor probably fell out after 1 year, and the professor said he cannot fund you anymore. And you cannot go into another group. The department will tell you that if you cannot get into another group, you have to leave the program. You might be forced to get up with a master's and you're stuck. A whole lot of things can happen. So it is very important. Your PI is the most important person in your graduate career. So choose very well. Ask questions. Reach out to other people via LinkedIn, to other students in the group, other professors. Ask about this professor before you decide to go with this professor. Um, yes. Another thing that is, I also want you to take note of is time is of the essence. If you're applying to graduate school, especially in America, time is of the essence. We're in June right now. You should begin to, if you want to apply for next admission, you should begin to, excuse me, search, select, prepare, and register for standardized tests. That is if you've decided to take standardized tests. This is when you have to decide, make those decisions between June and August. By September, you should start preparing the applications. Till October, you should write the test. By December, early December, you should have wrapped up all your applications. What it means is that you should try to submit your applications latest by December. If you're applying to, even if you're applying to 11, 12, try to make sure you submit all these applications latest by December, because it is like a stack. Once you apply, once you submit, it kind of piles up. And when they begin reviewing, they review from the first person that submitted, right? So you want to be within the first few people that they will review. You wouldn't want to wait until the deadline. Oh, the deadline is tonight by 11:59, and you are running to submit your application by 10:30, 11 o'clock. It's not going to make any sense. If they want to select 20 people and they have like 400 applications, and if the person reviewing has seen 10 good students, by the time he hits 50, what's the motivation to to pay so much attention to read the remaining 400 applications because you are there. No. So you should also you want to put yourself on a spot or a position where you can be able to have the opportunity to stand a chance. Yeah. Then by February, March, if any decision has not come, you can then begin to follow up on these professors. Remember, you've been reaching out to them before your application has gotten to them. Then you can reach out to them and ask them, oh, what is going on? Am I still standing a chance? Blah, blah, blah. Then they can tell you what they think, why it's happening. And if you feel like it doesn't make sense, then you can probably talk to somebody else. You have created a list of potential PIs. It doesn't mean that it's only one person that you'll be talking to in a school. But mind you, you shouldn't talk to several people. The maximum number of people you can talk to in a department is two. They are friends. They know each other. They talk to each other. It would make no sense if you send a cold email to one professor and say, hey professor, I'm interested in what you are doing, blah blah blah, and then you send the same email to another person. The two of them probably meet on a cup of coffee in the afternoon, and then something just happened, and then they started talking. Oh, I received a message from this person from Nigeria. The person said he's interested in my work, and then they start talking about it. What's the person's name? You mention your name. That one to say, I received the same email from this person. The moment those kind of things happen, you are off the table. Like they see desperation and they will just not be interested in talking to you. So you should be very careful. But by the time you reach February or March and you've been in conversation with one person and that person has been telling you that, oh, I'm sorry, I don't think you will be able to make it in that application. Then you can reach out to the second person. Of course, the second person too knows you, but he knows that you're talking to the other person, you know, and then you can then re-strategize, talk to someone else. That is usually what happens between that period. I think it kind of spills till April sometimes. I had a friend last year who got admission after April. I think it was April, mid-April or thereabout. And then I also had another friend that got admitted in June last year. So the time doesn't matter. It's the strategy between that February and May. If you see that it is not becoming gloomy, you can then try a different strategy and reach out. And you might be lucky, things can happen. So some tips that I'm going to give you is that research the program properly, like comb their website, the university's website, the college's website, the department's website, the professor's website, if they have one. Read everything and be so sure about everything that is being written there. You wouldn't want a situation where you are applying to a program and then you sent in your application or you started your application and then you realize that there's a requirement that you have to submit that you don't have. So please, you wouldn't want to do something like that. Push, persist until something happens. Keep pushing it. Once you believe in it, you can get it. Apply early. What I'm trying to say is by September, you should begin to start the applications. And then this is what I said I was going to say. Your application essays and the program description must fit. It's like a puzzle. It's like those puzzles that you can fit in each other. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't. And how do you know it fits? Your research experience must fit into whatever the professor is doing. Whatever you write in your essays, oh, this is why I'm coming to your school, must fit into what the department and it's what the department is interested in. And all of this information, you'll find it on their website. So that is that about that. Helpful information. Ask questions. Ask questions. I'm going to put my contact where you can reach out to me. Best place to reach out to me is on LinkedIn. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to respond to your messages. Keep your options open. What I mean by keeping your options open is that if you are interested in a field and you see another professor that reaches out to you, you didn't reach out to this professor, you had already reached out to a professor, you submitted your application, but the person did not tell you that you might not make it in through their group. But another professor saw your application and reached out to you and asks you that, oh, I read your profile, your application, and I'm really impressed by it. Would you want to work with me? If you study the person, what the person is doing, and you see that the person's work is also aligned a little bit with what you're doing, you should be able to open up to options like that. Opportunities like that really open up, I must tell you. Clearly state your goals during your application process. Tell them what you want, tell them what you want to do, how you want to do it, what you did, how you did it. Be specific, tell stories, like demonstrate it. Don't just say, I'm a good boy. Everybody knows that you're a good boy. How do we know that you're a good boy? What did you do that to make you conclude that you're a good boy or you're a good person? You understand what I'm trying to say? Connect with students and faculty on LinkedIn. Put your best foot forward. It means that if you have a paper publication, don't hide it at the back of, like, at the last paragraph or at the last sentence of your paragraph. No, you should start with it. Talk about, like, blow your own trumpet when you're applying. I know that it's not a very regular culture that we have in Nigeria. People might say you are proud or something. This is grad school. If you don't talk about yourself, who's going to tell people about yourself? Market yourself well. It's probably the same thing. Tell them everything you've done, all the motivating and interesting things that you think they are going to be ready to listen. And you would know what they are interested in when you read their website. When you read the university's website, you would see the kind of students that they are trying to build. They will write it, their school vision, their mission, their whatever. If you see that you have something that you've done that is aligning to the mission and vision of the school or the department, put it in your essays, market it. And another very, very good information, keep your social media clean, please. And our Twitter neighbors, Twitter in-laws, online family, please, in kind of, reduce them. I really know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you shouldn't be active, but you should, like, make it clean, right? The early bird catches the worm. It's a really, really good thing to apply early. So, having said all of this, I think I would be open to questions. This is my contact. You can reach me on WhatsApp, my email, and my name, of course. Just connect me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to entertain questions at this point. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. John. Really, really enjoyed your. Please let's give Mr. John a round of applause. Just use the reactions. Thank you. And if you have questions, you can drop in the chat or you just raise your hand and I will take it from there. So, John, we already have a question here that says, "What is Education USA all about? Just hearing it for the first time.
Okay, so Education USA is um a an arm of the United States Department of State. So the Department of State has a lot of, sub arms, subunit, and all. So Education USA is part of them, and they are saddled with the responsibility of giving people the right information about higher education in America. So they are not only giving people information about undergrad or graduate, I mean graduate alone or undergrad alone. It's both. So if you have someone that is still in secondary school that wants to study in America for their bachelor's degree, you can reach out to Education USA. They'll guide the person. It has membership requirements. So you might want to take a look at their websites, to know more about it. But they have a lot of centers, I think about 175 countries that they have centers in. So yeah, that is basically what they do. They give people information. They don't help people to apply. They don't apply for you. They don't fund your application process. No, nothing. It's only a program that they do, which is called the Opportunity Funds Program. That that is where they have it. The Opportunity Funds Program is a program that fund is the wrong word. Support is the right word. So it's more or less like we have a very large group of students that we are mentoring, advising to study in the US. Then there is a smaller group that we pay close attention to. Those smaller groups are the Opportunity Funds Program Scholar. It's very competitive, and the applications are usually in March every year. So this year's application has closed. The next one is till next year. So that is brief information I can give about Education USA. If you want to know more about it, you can go online.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope Alabi you got that. Also, someone asked at this okay, someone was asking if your explanations or your presentation was specifically for PhD or for both.
Yeah, it's for graduate education. So even if it's master's or a PhD, some schools see master students as they they need research experience too. You get, even though it might not be research that you will do for like 5 years, some people still do research in 2 years. You understand? So um,
All right,
it's
thank you.
applied to masters. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I don't think we have questions, but I have some questions here. Um, so
Okay.
from your own experience, what are the benefits and challenges of graduate education?
Ah, that's a very good question. Well, benefits of graduate education, challenges of graduate education. I would say, from my experience, that if you're doing what you're really interested in, like if you're like studying what you want, what you're passionate about, you will not see challenges most times. You would only see opportunities or you know options to improve yourself and learn. But what I'm going to say is that challenges are different. And the only major challenge for me while I came here was I never left Nigeria before. left Nigeria for the first time to a country that I've never been, with nobody, and I have to balance, survive, settle down. In the middle of settling down, I'm taking classes, I'm working as a TA, and I'm also trying to figure out everything, every other thing, like figure out how to eat, figure out how to, begin to wake or begin to create a schedule for myself. You know, the major challenge is usually the transitioning. And based on what I learned is that it takes 6 months, it takes up to 6 months to be able to transition completely to a new environment. So I'm just going to say that basically that is one big challenge that I had. The other challenge is probably the gap in the educational system between Nigeria and America. Those are other things. We've seen other people that came here that survived it. They did other things. Maybe they did extra learning. They studied more. They studied things that they weren't taught in their undergrad. And then when they got here, they found it useful. There are other people that could do that. But some people like me, we weren't privileged to have those kind of experiences. So academic experience was kind of a little bit challenging. So yeah, those are some of the challenges that could. But the benefits could be more of, oh, of course, you meet new people, you meet very good experts, you learn new things, you have resources, opportunities that you can explore and use. So yeah.
So someone was asking, Mr. Gary was asking, can he convert a CGPA of 5.0 to 4.0?
Yes, it's possible. Um, you might have to want to do a West evaluation. It's very expensive. I think there are cheaper ones, but it also depends on the school. So you have to decide the school. You have to know the school that you have to know the school that you are going to apply to. So check out the list. If you see that you are finally going to apply to like 8 schools, and you see that all these schools require um transcript evaluation, then you should do a transcript evaluation. It is there they would convert your GPA from 5 points to 3 points and to 4 points. But basically I can give you for like directly right now, if you're on a 4 points grade scale, the average GPA that would probably be considered for graduate education is 3.0. Some schools take as low as 2.7, but most schools take 3.0. It's only a few that take 2.75. But if you convert 3.0 in a 4 point grade scale to 5 points, it's going to be something around 4.25 or thereabout. I'm not really sure about the math, but yeah, you can convert it.
Yeah, thank you. I think we'll just take, there's a lot of questions.
Okay.
So can you brief us on the academic qualifications such as academic standing? Okay, I don't think I fully get this question, but say, can you brief us on the academic qualifications such as academic standing, regional qualifications required for a grad school?
Yeah, I think I have an idea of what this question is asking. Um, Academic qualifications in terms of academics, you just have to have a good grade. In Nigerian language, let me just say a 2-1. Might not be very strong, but a 2-1. A 2-1 is good. So, but the content of that 2-1 doesn't really matter. It only matters, for example, if you are probably applying to something related to maybe medicine or biology or chemistry, you should know that all your classes that you took that are related to chemistry, all the classes that you took that are related to either is biology, either is mathematics, you have to have good grades in them, like A's, right? Or B's. So the grading system in Nigeria is super different from the grading system here. So they know that. So if you say A, if you say B is good, but if you are going down to the C's, they might really be asking more questions as to why. So yes, those are basically the requirements. But one thing I want you to know is that the application process does not only require your academic qualifications or standing. They look at it holistically. They look at your SOP, they look at your transcripts, they look at your other parts of the application, your recommendation letters. So if you have a good standing and you have bad recommendation letters, you might not make it. If you have a good standing, you have a good SOP, recommendation letters. So it's holistic. So you cannot focus on one and disregard the rest. Yeah, I think that is what I'm going to say. Uh, did we lose him?
No. Sorry. Um. So someone asked. So I think I'll take two more questions. Someone asked. I studied mathematics education in BSc. Can I get a PhD in mathematical studies away from education? And also another person asks. Also, does it necessarily take 5 years to have a PhD? Can it take more or less?
So, based on these two questions, studying mathematics education in BSc, if I remember the way it works in UI, those that did mathematics education probably got double honors. So they did the bachelor's part and then the education part. I don't know if that is your case. If that is not your case, it might be a little hard, but you can try. Just check out with the graduate program, email them, ask them that this is what you have, and do they think you can make it to their program? And yeah, there are a whole lot of schools. There are people that can really take it. So it's possible. It's possible. You just have to look a little bit more hard. And yeah, well, PhD in America is 5 years at the least. Like I've seen people graduate 7 years, 6 years. So it could be more. It could be more, but the benchmark is usually 5 years. I've not seen anyone that did not use up to 5 years. There are a couple of exceptions. For example, maybe someone did a master's and was able to waive most of the coursework that is required for the first few years in the program. But that doesn't still mean they will use 3 years. They can still use maybe 4, but the average is usually 5 years.
Know if I permit to put in one more question, last 1 minute. So someone asks, I would like to ask, at what point should someone apply for PhD instead of going from direct routes of applying for an MSc, then PhD? Then someone asks also, how easy it is to get a full funding to a PhD program? So the first question is asking, at what point should you apply for a PhD, like direct PhD, or do you suggest that we should apply from MSc to PhD, and how easy it is to get a full funding?
So yeah, um, it depends on what you want actually. Some people you see yourself I'm sorry, some people know they want to do a master's, some people know they want to do a PhD. But the fact that you did a master's in Nigeria does not mean that you will not take the 2-year coursework required for a PhD if you come to the US. So some people look at it and I'm like, I'll spend 2 years in Nigeria, I'll go to America, and my first 2 years will be like repeating the 2 years I did. So you just have to make the decision yourself. Do you really want to do something like that? Do you think it's going to help you? So it's part of the thinking process you have to do for yourself. And how easy it is to get funding for PhD programs. It is easy for some people. It is a little bit harder for some other people. I'm not saying it's not possible. So for STEM programs, it can be easy. But for non-STEM, it is like anybody applying for a non-STEM PhD has to look a little bit hard. Even for masters, both STEM and non-STEM at the same time, both can be a little bit hard to get funding for masters. But for PhD, it's easy to get funding for STEM programs. Yeah. So I want to address one question that is here about um switching programs. So you are in engineering, you want to switch to another form of career. You should, I'm not saying it's not possible. I've seen people do it, but you have to have enough motivation to justify that switch. The switch is possible, but you have to justify the reason behind the switch. And you should also back up some extra work that you must have done to justify that switch. So, have you taken some courses in the new program that you're going to? Do you have some work experience or research experience in that new program? Do you have you done something in that new program? Or have you done something in the old program that you can link to the new program? So those are the questions you want to ask yourself and tell the application committee and the admission committee. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, let's give Mr. John a round of applause, please.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, so yeah, you can stop sharing for now.
Okay.
So I don't know, you can drop your LinkedIn in the chat so that people can like connect with you, and if they have more questions, you can.
My LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Let me let me just pull up a
So as Mr. John is trying to do that, you can always stay in touch with us by following us on Twitter and LinkedIn. Twitter is at ML in Lagos and LinkedIn is Machine Learning Lagos. You can search for us there. And yeah, exciting news. Next week we have the part 2 of the grad school series, which is coming up. We have another speaker coming to. Okay. We have another speaker coming to tell us about the application process, what it means to stand out, how do you write compelling personal statement, research proposals, how do you approach professors, those cold emails. I mean, Mr. John has already made mention of reaching out to professors and also like keeping yourself in the loop, having a nice relationship. How do you do all of that? We want to go down to the nuances and the nitty-gritty. So um, you should join in for week 2, and I'm pretty sure you will not be disappointed. So Mr. John has also dropped his LinkedIn in the chat. You can follow him. He has a lot to say. He always has a lot to say. He's full of knowledge and physics knowledge too. And yeah, I would like your feedback. You can copy the link and just take a screenshot. We also drop in the chat in case you you have something to say or you have ideas how we can be better. We always want to improve. We really love your feedback. So thank you so much for joining in. Really appreciate Mr. John. We want to say thank you for taking out time out of your busy schedule to come and enlighten us about the grad school series. So really, so please let's give Mr. John a round of applause. Really appreciate your presence, sir. And I don't know if our leader, if he has something to say. If you are you there? Okay. I don't think she's in the right conditions to speak. All right. Thank you so much all for joining. We'll end the conference right now. So if you have any questions, we can keep the conversation going in the WhatsApp group. If you have not joined us, please join us right now. I would drop the link. You can register for the events. So I want to say big thank you to everyone, the organizers, Mr. John, and every one of you that have joined it. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you next week. Bye.